good customer service. They do care. Unlike some companies I've dealt with, they reply to your questions and they're really helpful. And they actually, I've heard a lot of people say that they've helped them build custom rigs. So they just say, if you tell them, okay, I want this rig set up, but I want this piece, instead of this, can I have blah? You know, if you say instead of the matte box, can I have, you know, whatever, then they'll give you a custom price and send you the custom kit that works for you, because it's really a personal thing, a shoulder rig. Let's get started with pros and cons. Now I'm going to go with the cons first, but stay with me. Okay, the only real cons to this is that because this is a really low priced unit, it's still built really, really tough, but you can feel that even though it looks nice and it looks professional, you can tell that like for example, there's a few scratches from manufacturing and stuff like that, and the edges are not it's not quite as refined as something that costs $1,000 or $2,000 or whatever. So it's not quite that, but it is precise. There's no issues with fit. There's no issues with it breaking or not working the way it should. It's only very minor, just look stuff really, just like a scratch or something from manufacturing, stuff like that. But that's just what I would expect from a kit that is at this price. Now, by the way, this entire kit is $610, I think, plus shipping, but it's a very, and this is for an entire kit with a bunch of extras, with the follow focus, with the matte box, everything. So it's really low price. That's about £400, but this really is one of the best value for money you can get. Now right here I've got it set up with a GH2 and an Olympus OM 55mm f1.2 lens, and I've got it set up with most of the pieces that came with this rig, but not all of them. They actually give you so much with this kit that, you know, it's really, some of the stuff for your personal use won't even be needed. Everything fits nicely and it's very, very strong. The handles are surprisingly strong. This has got a 1 kilogram weight at the back. I believe that's I think it's about 1.5 kilo maybe. And one of these handles is just about able to hold this entire rig up. I personally wouldn't use the flags. They just don't really fit my use. Also, like I said, I like to keep things really compact. So I will show you how I have my rig set up in a bit, which is really much more compact than this. Now this is how they sort of recommend setting it up, with the exception of me having removed the base plate from the system. And now the reason I've done that is that it allows the camera to move back and forth, and it allows it to move closer to the follow focus. So if you want to get this specific rig, I would recommend contact DV City, ask them to maybe have it without this, because they have a lot of different systems. So I found that this gets in the way, and even though it's useful to be able to mount this entire system to a tripod, it got in my way a little bit too much. So I would recommend going with one of the ones, and they do have also versions of shoulder rigs which don't have this big base plate. They have smaller base plates, so I'd go with that. So the cage is completely removable pretty easily. You don't have to undo the entire system to take it all apart to remove the cage. You simply unscrew these completely, and then this entire bottom piece comes off and the entire cage just pops off, which is really nice. So yeah, it really just depends. For example, if you've got stuff to mount onto the cage, or if you need protection, or if you like, I actually love having the top handle and somewhere to lift the rig up. With this, it's so much easier than trying to grab down here to lift the rig. So I really do like this system. I really do like the matte box, and I do really recommend it. If you're gonna go for a matte box, that's the one to go for. Now, as you can see, I've taken that off because that's a little bit closer to the setup I would have for my own shoots. So as you can see, I'm removing the cage as well, which takes just under 20 seconds or so. Not because I don't like it, because I do really like this cage and I do really recommend it. It's really nice to work with. However, like I said, for my super run and gun shoots, that's not how I'd have it set up. just because it's a lot quicker to use, and it's a lot more inconspicuous when you're running around London. I don't really want to pull attention to myself with a big camera setup. Okay, so what you're seeing right now is how I would have my rig set up for run and gun shoots, for when I have to be really, really quick. The reason for this is that it's lighter, and it's a really fantastic system like this. And this is just, again, a rig is a personal thing. If you need the big rig, go for the big rig. It's fantastic. This is how I have it set up, mainly because most of my cameras have flip out screens. So it's not an issue for me of needing the offset. So that just saves me a little bit of size on the rig. I like to have the handles really up close to me. I would recommend they have a set of lower down handles, which go down to here, and they look fantastic. So I actually really want some of those. So I'll have a link below. If you're gonna get a kit like this, these handles are great and they're really strong. If you've got handles lower down, it does make it a lot nicer to shoot with, because this lens is really close to the camera. The focus ring is really close to the camera body. I've had to flip the follow focus around. And the one thing that bothers me a little bit about this follow focus is that you do need to do that with an Allen key. So you need to get an Allen key in there. Obviously, I mean, you could just undo this, get an Allen key in there, and then flip it round. So to avoid having to flip it forward and back all the time, I've kept it in this position so that no matter what, I've always got the follow focus slightly forward, so it's never getting in the way of the camera. Quality is fantastic. There's almost no play. I wouldn't expect this to be anything more than it already is, especially considering that this is a follow focus at a fantastic price point. Counterbalance is something that so many people just have no idea how much their shooting will improve with more counterbalance. The shoulder rig must be properly balanced on your shoulder. Now this isn't how I have it set up right now, but I will be ordering more of these. And but it's something that's so important. I mean, it's like, I would say it's as important as the entire rig, is because this allows you to actually get stable footage. This is one of the most important parts of the rig, and so many people, and I mean pretty much every shooter that I ever speak to or see the rig of, just doesn't have enough counterbalance. It's why it's called counterbalance. It's not just to keep this from flying up, it's to keep that from flying down. You should ideally not have to push up with your arms. That's how you want to have it set up. So right now I don't have enough on here, and that's because I recently got this rig and I still need to get more. But on my other rigs, I have about 3 kilo and sometimes more. I would rec for a heavy setup, for a 70 or 5D with a big lens, and a follow focus and handles and a matte box, 4-5 kilo, as much as you have to. Now you have to remember that the weight on your shoulder is not what's going to hurt, it's the weight on your arms that's going to hurt, and the weight on your arms also transfers to your back, and that's when you start actually getting tired of holding a rig up. So for anything longer than 3 minutes, I would say have it properly counterbalanced. Have for something like this, I would say maybe 2-3 kilo, but for anything more than that, just either more weight or push the weight further back onto your shoulder. So for example, right now that's almost balanced, whereas right now it's front heavy. So if you have a little bit further back, obviously you might want to get longer rails or just a rail extension, if you want to use less weight but still have it better balanced. So 2 to 3 kilos would be ideal, I would say, if you've got it a little bit further from your back. Now, when it comes to the shoulder pad, I like it. It's inexpensive, and it's a little soft. It's not super soft. So I will show you a little DIY trick, just using some foam and some duct tape, just to get this softer if you need it. And I have not found that it's needed at all. This is nice and comfortable. All you got to do, get some sponges. You know, if you could get one, or you could put a few, or you could just get one big sponge, and some black duct tape, and just put that on there. And that'll just, I mean, it shouldn't look too DIY as long as you sort of do it neatly. and that'll get it a bit softer if you need, but I have not had any shoulder ache with this pad, so it's actually quite nice as it is. Just if you're shooting for an entire day, especially if you have a really big heavy setup with a lot of counterweight, you might want to do that. Now, the base plate system, like I said before, I have removed the bottom plate, which is to mount the tripod, but the top plate to mount the camera is actually pretty good. It's based on the Giotto's system, which I think the Giotto's system is based on another system. It's not Manfrotto, but I'm not really sure what it is. But I use Giotto's quick release systems because they're inexpensive. They're about £23 each with a plate. And so I really like that this is compatible with that because I can switch them back and forth. Okay, so another way I would have this rig set up, and this is actually my preferred setup, except I didn't have all the pieces, but I'll still show you because this is really how I would recommend having it set up, is, and by the way, all these pieces are included in the kit I'm reviewing, the 6CF kit, but you would just need to get one piece to extend this to here, which is, like I said, it's about a £12 piece to add, which is just an extender to add. It's just a clamp which with 4 holes in it to hold 15mm rails. So this is how I would have it set up, because this allows me to have a setup which I can use really compact, use filters if I need in the matte box, or use it as a shade. The follow focus, still have that on there. Have the entire system set up on a tripod, and then as soon as I remove it from the tripod, simply connect this to the extension, and then I'm into a shoulder rig again. So I do really love this system like that. It's really stable like this, so I'd be really happy using like this, maybe with a viewfinder or something. And I could also flip these round really quickly to have this, you know, to use this as a fig rig sort of way. So just to have these like that, so I can then also focus here. So yeah, I really do like the setup. This is how I'd recommend it. Okay, so when it comes to accessories, this package is absolutely jam-packed with extras that you might need, and I like that they've included everything. And so the stuff you don't need, put up on eBay. You know, if you, for example, personally, I won't be using the big focus gears just because I find that for my sort of setup, they're a bit too big and they sort of get in my way a bit. So I won't be using these. I'll use, by the way, if you don't want these yourself, if you do like these, then great, they come with the kit. If not, ask them to replace these with the really tiny ones like you saw on the rig, which are just, you just strap them onto your lens and they fit any size. And that's what I really like. I really like the compactness of that. It also comes with these foam rings, which just to help block light coming in. If you're using filters, then if you've got light coming in from the back of the matte box, then bouncing off the filter and going into your lens, that could be an issue. So these stop that. It also comes with a bunch of replacement pieces, replacement parts, replacement screws, tools. These are razors for the base plate. So if you need to raise the base plate up or down, you've got these. Pretty nice. I haven't found the use for them yet, but or the need for them, but it's nice to have. Spare pieces, spare bolts. It's nice that it comes with a lot of spares. A lot of companies don't do that. So nice one on that. It also comes with a crank and whip. I think it's cool, it's useful, and it's nicely built. Okay, so it comes with a shock mount as well for a shotgun microphone, and it's really, really nicely built. Super, super tough. It's made of aluminium, so it's pretty lightweight, but at the same time, it's really tough. It's got a built-in hot shoe mount, and overall performs pretty well. I did a test with this compared to my my other one, and it performs pretty well. The elastic bands are good quality, and the one thing with this is that I would keep it away from lenses because it's a piece of metal, so I would want to keep this in a separate pocket in the bag from anything that I wouldn't want scratches on. really nice that it comes with a kit. I like that. There are so many more things I could explain about this rig, but it's all pretty self-explanatory. Everything works as it should. There's no issues. I'm really happy with it. I'm really happy with how quick the follow focus is to set up with just one knob at the bottom. Really happy with just everything. It's just really, really nicely built, really good quality. So links will be below. Thanks for watching. Hope this was helpful. If you have any questions, ask me below. And like I said, super recommended. I really love this rig, and I've really been enjoying using it. And I'm looking forward to building in onto this more with other kit, like for example the handles I'm going to get from DV City.